Okay, I think we're back, right? Yeah, we're back. Okay. What I want to do here, right, is I want to take our main camera and say, hey, you shouldn't be following the player target. You should be following that nice smooth view. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and see what happens. Play maximize so we can get a good view of how that movement is looking. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and we're moving a little bit more often. Okay. Now it's a little bit smoother. Okay. Yeah, a little bit. All right. Okay. I'm wondering here. Okay, I'm wondering if we couldn't update this. Could we update this in here to get it even smoother? Okay, in here we were only updating every once in a while. Okay, can we update instead in the update function and get a really smooth one? That's what I wonder. Let's see. Oh, that looks very smooth. That looks very smooth, but our speed is kind of messed up. Let's make this a little bit higher. Maybe 1 right here. Okay, let's see how this is going to look. Okay. Okay. Okay, when I hold the arrow key down, it's not very smooth. It kind of seems to go into a bit of lagginess. So I think what I'm going to do, I think when I set the current location, it messes things up a little bit. So what I think I want to do is I want to move it back here. Our smoothness is actually was looking pretty good. Just a little bit choppy compared to how it used to be. I think this is probably fine. Let's see. Yeah, that's looking not too bad. Okay. All right. So we can do some testing like that. That's going pretty well. So what else do we want to do today? Okay. What other topics do we tend to do? Blah, 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 blah. Orbit camera, so we got that. Movement, yep. Cheat, yep, we got that. Switch scene button and persisting data between scenes. Okay, so we'll do that. Something that we need to do is we need to think about our UI. Now, we do have a canvas in here, and we have some text, right, waiting for location. So when you play the game, there should be some text down here, potentially. Yeah, it's really small. We actually don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and delete that canvas. We're going to start from scratch. Let's go to plus. Let's go to UI. And let's go to canvas. Okay? We've got our new canvas. And this is a canvas where we're going to put a lot of our UI. We're going to put some buttons in there. We're going to put our inventory in there eventually. So what I want to do is I want to actually call this... What should we call this? Should we call this anything? I don't know. Yeah, let's just leave it like this. Let's just leave it normal canvas. Now, the first thing you always want to do in Unity when you get a canvas, and this is something, unfortunately, you just have to remember, is you want to go in and change the way that it scales its children, okay? The way that it scales its button, the way that it scales the text and recs within it. And we need to change the canvas scaler component on the canvas game object from constant pixel size to scale with screen size, okay? We want that screen size to be kind of a mobile phone resolution. So let's go and plug in what the iPhone 14 has, 1170. 2532, okay? And then from then on, we should be pretty good. So when we want to do UI stuff, right, if you remember from your first couple assignments, your AR assignments, we can go in, right-click on the canvas, and say, hey, I want to add some UI, and we can add things like an image or a panel. Be careful about Text Mesh Pro. I really don't like it. I prefer the legacy text, and legacy button as well is really pretty good. So that's actually what I'm going to do first. Let's go ahead and create a button. Okay. Now this button, look at how small it is. You can barely see it. Okay. We're going to go ahead and make the width a bit longer. I'm going to grab that width and just move my cursor to the right. I'm going to make the height a bit higher like that. Now you can see the button for sure. The text is too small though. One really nice thing you can do is you can go to the, let's go into the button. So click on the button game object. You'll find a text game object inside of it. That text is super tiny. I'm going to click on best fit. Okay, I really wish this was in by default, but it's not. And I'm going to make the max size larger than 40. Okay, now we got a big, nice button, and I can change it to be whatever I want. Now, this is the button that's actually going to switch our modes. Okay, so clicking on the button is going to take us from one scene to the other, and then when we click it again, it's going to take us from that scene back to the first one. Okay, so let's go ahead and I want to put some text in here. I want it to say something like switch mode. Okay. And let's go to the button. I want to make this a bit smaller, actually. As I make it smaller, the text will resize itself, which is super cool. I'm going to take this button. I'm going to bring it down to the bottom of my UI. Now, I want it to stay there, okay? I want it to stay there, and so I want to anchor this to the bottom of the screen. And then all my calculations, all my position numbers will be related to the bottom of that screen, okay? So let's go ahead and click on that anchor button right over here. It's anchored to the center currently. Right? You know this because if we zero out and go to the origin, we end up in the center of our screen. If we anchor ourselves not to the center of our screen, but to the bottom center, right here, now if I zero my position out, boom, I'm at the bottom of our screen. I'll raise the button a little bit, maybe up here, and then we're good, okay? Very good. When we play the game, let's play the game and see how it looks. Okay, nice, right? Now I can click the button, right? When I hover over it, it changes its color. When I click it, it goes dark like that. One challenge for us is that it's kind of hard to see this button, right? We got this very bright white background, and I want the button to kind of stand out a bit more. So something you can do is you can go to the button game object. I want to add a, an outline, okay? An outline component, right? And we need to maybe make these numbers a bit higher, 5 and -5. But you can see there's a little black outline there that you can now see pretty clearly. And you can change the color and opacity if you want to. When I run the game, that button is now just pops off the screen. Okay, it looks a lot more sharp. There we go. Okay. Now, what if I want to run some code based on that button? What do I do? Can I, run some code to transition to another scene? Yes, I can, but how do you do this? Well, what we have to do, right, all code has to go on a component, and all components have to go on a game object. And so we need a component, okay? Let's say that I want to create a component that is on this button, all right? Hey, why not? Let's try it. So let's create a new component. Let's call this switch mode button, okay? All right, we got this new component called switch mode button. It is on our button. I should probably name this button so it's a bit more organized. Let's call this switch mode button. Okay, and I can go in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a function. Okay, I'm going to write a function. What should we call this? Let's make it public. We need to do that so that we can get the button to call that function when we click it. So let's make it public. Let's call this on button was clicked, okay? And let's actually call this, oh, we need to make it a return type, void. Let's call this on switch mode button was clicked, okay? A bit verbose, but it's very clear what this function should do, or at least when it's going to be called. What we need to do for now, let's just go ahead and do some debugging. So let's go debug.log, okay, just verify things are working. Clicked mode switch button, okay? Now, this is not a special function like, start, right, or update, right? Those functions will be called automatically by Unity, but this one will not, okay? There's nothing special about how we named this function, and so how do we make sure it gets called? Well, what we can do is we can go into our